Yo, what's up, y'all? We seldom go out alone. We're usually in groups. We're usually traveling together, partying together. And you always want to make it back home. Everybody does. You always do. You do not think about losing your life after having a night out of town, enjoying yourself, having some drinks, maybe dancing, flirting a little bit. We know what goes on in the bars and we know what goes on in the clubs. You never think that you won't make it home, even though it's a possibility. It's a possibility for everyone because no one is guaranteed to live to see another day. No one is guaranteed to make it home safely at the end of the night. Well, this story that I'll bring y'all today is about a young lady that lost her life after a security guard started shooting. Now, you may ponder to yourself, why was the security guard shooting and why did this young lady lose her life? Well, she seems to be an innocent bystander. We all know that most people can't aim. We all know that most people can't shoot. We all know that most people can't handle a firearm. Bullets have no names on them. No, they don't. They can hit you and you and you and you. They hit anyone because they don't have names on them. And so if you don't have great aim, if you don't practice at a shooting range, you may hit an innocent bystander. And it doesn't matter what type of law enforcement you may be, from a security guard to an officer of the law. It does not matter. And this young lady, unfortunately, lost her life and found out the hard way. Now let's get into the story and see exactly what happened on the night that this young lady lost her life in front of the Bloom Lounge.
Well, turning now to new info about a deadly shooting outside of a Southfield bar. This is new surveillance video just into our newsroom.
Yeah, police say one woman was killed and another injured. 33-year-old Alex Fields, seen here, died. Her family heartbroken and still desperate for answers.
Investigators working to determine who fired those shots and what led to the violence.
7 News Detroit reporter Randy Wimbley sitting down with the bar's owners for an emotional conversation.
I saw some commotion, so I was actually going that way. And then when the shots rang out, I believe it was 4 of them, I immediately jumped back.
A surveillance camera captures the moment shots were fired outside Bloom Southfield, killing 33-year-old Alexandra Fields and injuring her close friend. 7 News Detroit learned a contracted security guard fired those shots. Bloom owner Kenny Valentino says that was only after one of the women is said to have retrieved the gun.
Security kind of ordered her to drop her weapons multiple times. I'm told she turned from one security guard to another. He told her at least 3 or 4 times to lower her weapon, and ultimately, she did not do that.
Bloom owner.
Sometimes we make the worst decisions. Sometimes we make the worst decisions. I repeated it twice because I need y'all to understand that based on the choices you make, especially on a night like this where you may be drinking, because what does alcohol does? It hinders your judgment. It definitely does. We make the dumbest decisions and the craziest choices when we're drunk. And that's not to say this young lady who pulled out the firearm was drunk. I wasn't there. I don't know. I don't even know if she's one of the ones that was shot. But at the same time, I do know that if you're coming from a lounge, then you were most likely what? You were most likely drinking, whether you had a drink, 2, 3, or 4. It doesn't matter. So we make the dumbest decisions while we're drunk, and then you throw in firearms. It gets even crazier. We make even dumber decisions. Because for you to pull out a firearm and brandish that firearm to security guards, armed security guards, that you already know what's going to happen. Because I need you to put yourself in the place of a security guard who is armed. Let's say someone is brandishing a gun and they have it pointed at you. You don't know if it's loaded. You don't know if they're going to shoot. You don't know if they're a killer. You don't know what's going through their mind, but I know what's going through your mind. You want to make it home to your family. You want to lie in your bed at the end of the night. Put your head down on your warm pillow and get under your covers. So what are you going to do? Self-defense, right? Right. And I guarantee you that's exactly what happened on this night, that this young lady lost her life. And it's sad and it's unfortunate to have her lose her life and her friend get wounded. Now, they need to tell us exactly who was brandishing the gun. Was it her, or was it her friend, or was it someone else? Because the security guards fired 4 shots. 4 shots. Who were they firing at? If one of them, well, to my understanding, one of them hit the young lady that passed away, and the other one hit her friend.
Valentino and Kyle Kirkland say it all began with what appeared to be a domestic dispute after the lounge closed, prompting security to keep an eye on those involved. I'm told Fields was there with her friend, her sister, and her sister's significant other. Bloom owners say the security guard in question was released from police custody Monday. No charges have been filed. Southfield police declined to provide an update on the case Wednesday, only saying they're close to wrapping up their investigation. Kirkland and Valentino called the shooting tragic.
The fact that somebody came here and didn't make it back home, another person came here and ended up in the hospital, that's heartbreaking for us.
The family of Alexandra Fields released a statement saying in part that Alex was part of the 2012 MAC Championship women's basketball team at Eastern Michigan University. She was kind, thoughtful, and loved by our family and friends. Alex cared deeply for those less fortunate and worked tirelessly on social justice causes.
I would honestly just try to pray for them. Let them know that our thoughts and minds are with them.
Although Bloom is still operating, Valentino and Kirkland say business has taken a hit since the shooting, and they're currently operating at a loss.
Of course they are. Things like this, when they happen at a business, trust and believe. Trust and believe. If it doesn't close your doors permanently, it will affect business, because people are going to think twice before coming to your establishment. They are going to associate your establishment with a murder, even though it didn't happen inside of the building. And that's another story that I'm going to cover for y'all too, where a young man bodied another man inside of a business. And I actually just passed that business today, and it's still closed down 10 days later. But when things like this happen at a business, trust and believe it affects profits. Trust and believe it affects that business, because people do not want to party at a place where something as tragic as this has happened. Even though I do know some places that had shootings and they were open the next weekend and everyone was partying away as if it never happened.
Boy, over 61 people here. That's 61 families who are taken care of by the revenue generated here. We want to be a part of the fabric of the community for a long time.
Of course you do.
The lounge owners tell me they're reviewing additional security measures for this parking lot and working to ensure that nothing like this ever happens again. In Southfield, I'm Randy Wembley, 7 News Detroit.
Now, y'all got to ask yourself, how can you prevent something like this from happening? Because once again, like I said, when I was in the party scene, I know of several incidences where people were murdered. Yeah, I used to party at those types of spots. I used to go to those types of clubs. Yeah, I used to. Get my drift? I don't party at those kind of establishments anymore. So I know of certain incidences where someone lost their lives, literally, in front of me. I've seen it. And like I said, they were open the next weekend like nothing happened. People were partying as if nothing happened. I've heard stories about people losing their lives inside these establishments, in the bar, in the club, in the lounge. It doesn't matter. So how can you prevent something like this from happening? You can't prevent it by investigating and watching videos, surveillance videos of the parking lot to see what might have happened to incite this incident in order to, correct it and make sure it never happens again. You just can't, because again, when you have alcohol involved and you have people who are being unruly, people who are rowdy, something like this might happen. See, I said it might happen. It doesn't happen all the time, but it might happen. And sometimes it happens too often. And it's unfortunate that this young lady had to lose her life. It's unfortunate that her friend got wounded. And it's also unfortunate that this security guard had to live through this experience, because it also affects him. Let's not forget that. I need y'all to be safe out there, especially when you're partying. Be aware of your surroundings and keep the fighting to a minimum. Until next time.
If you like this video, like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more content.